Hello children, let us continue where we are stopped. Let us continue with the story The Enemy, written by Pearl S. Buck. Now here Dr. Sadao says Americans are our enemies. Though he says like that, he has performed an operation on an American who was his enemy. And here he tries to justify by saying that I've been trained as a doctor and I'm not supposed to let any man to die if I can help it. Now the servants are agitating and they have been resisting whatever the masters are doing it. And here Hannah, who has been assisting her husband, who also hated the Americans, says that the servants cannot understand that though you are a patriot, though you feel for the country, they will not understand you. Neither seemed able to say more. So both of them, they are not able to say anything. Somehow the household dragged on. So it went down. The servants grew more watchful. The servants have become very vigilant. So the chores of the house has continued, the work, the servants continued, but they were becoming very careful. Their courtesy was as careful as ever. So they were very vigilant. They were watching them. Probably they started hating them, but their eyes were cold upon the pair. So they probably started hating them. It's not the respect which they enjoyed earlier, to whom they were hired. So their reactions were very cold. So they were very unfriendly towards their masters. It is clear what our master ought to do, the old gardener said one morning. So what our master should do? What is his work to do? He is not supposed to take care of his enemy. He had worked with flowers all his life. So for a long time, he was with Dr. Sadao. Had been a specialist too in moss. For Sadao's father, he had made one of the finest moss gardens in Japan, sweeping the bright green carpet constantly so that not a leaf or pine needle marred the velvet of its surface. Marred spoiled the velvet, spoiled the mat. So neatly he is to do the work. Such an expert he was. My old master's son knows very well. So he had served Dr. Sadao's father. So he has been with Sadao's family for a long period. My old master's son knows very well what he ought to do. He knows what he is supposed to do. He is a Japanese. Pinching a bird from a bush as he spoke. So they were carrying out their work. They were doing their work. But they were feeling against their master. When the man was so near death, when the man was on the verge of death, when the man was dying, why did he not let him bleed? Why did he save him? That young master is so proud of his skill. Why is he doing like that? Because he thinks that he's a great doctor. So here, though this cook spoke disrespectfully of his master, he praises his skill. And says that he is proud of his skill to save life, and therefore he saves life. And the cook said contemptuously, kind of hatred he has got for his master. She spilled a fowl's neck skillfully. So here, probably Yumi, the maidservant, she is doing her work, getting ready with chicken. Hail the fluttering bird, let its blood flow into the roots of wisteria vine. Blood is the best of fertilizers. So they were doing their work very, very sincerely. But what their master did, they didn't like it. And then they think, what will be their fate if their father is condemned as a traitor? And she says, she's thinking about the children. I'm not worried about the parents, but I am worried about small children. The parents will be called as traitors and they will be labeled as the children of the traitors. What life would be of theirs in the future? She's thinking about their future. They didn't try to hide what they said from the ears of Hannah. They were not worried about Hannah. She stood arranging the day's flowers in the veranda nearby. She knew they spoke on purpose. They spoke purposely. They wanted them to hear so that probably they would change their way. They were right as she knew too in most of her being. She knew that what they were saying, they were right. They would be treated as traitors and the children would face very bleak future. But there was another part of her which she herself could not understand. That's her humanitarian values. It was not sentimental liking of the prisoner. It was not that she liked that prisoner. She hated the prisoner. She had come to think of him as a prisoner. She had not liked him even yesterday when he had said in his impulsive way, anyway, let me tell you that my name is Tom. So he had told very impulsively. Suddenly he had told that his name is Tom. He had revealed about himself. She had only bowed her little distance bow. She saw hurt in his eyes and she could see some sort of feeling of hurt in his eyes, but she did not wish to assuage it. She didn't try to reduce it. Probably he was offended a bit. Indeed, he was a great trouble in this house. And she was feeling that because of him, they all are going to be in trouble. They are going to face a very bleak future by keeping this man, by harboring this man, by giving shelter this man who was their enemy. As for Sadao, every day he examined the wound carefully. So every day he came, checked up this patient of him who he had performed the operation, who had undergone the operation. The last stitches had been pulled out this morning. The young man would, in a fortnight, be nearly as well as ever. So within a fortnight, within 15 days, he will become all right. He had removed the bullet from his body. Sadao went back to his office and carefully typed a letter to the chief of police reporting the whole matter. So probably he knew that he can't keep him for a long period, and he knew that what he should do, and probably he was facing the dilemma. He was thinking that probably it is better to hand him over, and that's why he types a letter. On the 21st day of February, an escaped prisoner was washed up on the shore in front of my house. So far he typed. So he's facing the predicament. He opened a secret drawer of his desk and put the unfinished report into it. But probably he doesn't want to post it. He doesn't want to send it. He's probably worried. The man whom he has saved, should he hand him over to the police? On the 7th day after that, two things happened. So what are those two things? In the morning, the servants left together. All these days they were carrying out the work. They were resisting. But now on the 7th day, they left together. Their belongings tied in last quick cotton kerchiefs. When Anna got up in the morning, nothing was done. The house not cleaned, the food not prepared. She knew what it meant. It meant that they were all resisting. She was dismayed. She was feeling sad because they had not followed their order. And she was quite shocked. She was even terrified. Her pride as a mistress would not allow her to show it. So she never wanted to surrender herself. Instead, she inclined her head gracefully when they appeared before her in the kitchen. So the pride in her, she paid them off and thanked them for all that they had done for her. So she paid the money to them. She said, okay, fine, bye. They were crying. She didn't cry. The cook and the gardener had served Sadao since he was a little boy in his father's house. So they were there for a long period and they were living. Yumi cried because of the children. And Yumi went on telling, it's children she's more concerned. She was so grieving that after she had gone, she ran back to Hana. If the baby misses me too much tonight, send for me, call me. I'm going to my own house. So she was so much attached to those children of Sadao and Hana. She didn't feel like leaving the house, but the patriotism in them, that's what we can see here. You know where it is. Thank you, Hana said smiling. But she told herself she would not send for Yumi. However, the baby cried, the pride in her. She made the breakfast and Sadao helped with the children. Neither of them spoke of the servants beyond the fact that they were gone. But after Hana had taken morning food to the prisoner, she came back to Sadao. Why is it we cannot see clearly what we ought to do? Why we can't see clearly what we should have supposed to do? We should have handed over this soldier to the police. Even the servants see more clearly than we do. Why are we different from other Japanese? Why are we doing this? Why are we rescuing this soldier? Sadao didn't answer. But a little later, he went into the room where the prisoner was and said brusquely. So he said very quickly, today you may get up on your feet. Today you'll be able to walk on your feet. You are becoming all right. I want you to stay up only 5 minutes at a time. So now he has come back and he is carrying out his work now. And he says, now you have to stay up for only 5 minutes. Tomorrow you may try twice as long. So 10 minutes. It would be well that you get back your strength as quickly as possible. So you better get your strength as quickly as possible. Otherwise, if they find, probably you'll be in trouble. He saw the flicker of terror on the young face that was still very pale. So suddenly he could see that he was a bit worried. He was terrified. Okay, the boy murmured. Evidently, obviously, clearly, he was determined to say more. He wanted to say more. I feel I ought to thank you. I must thank you. I should thank you, Doctor, for having saved my life. So you have saved my life, and that's why, so he expresses gratitude. Don't thank me too early. Who knows? Probably you'll be caught. So don't thank me. The danger is not over yet. So here, Sadao says it was not over yet. And he said coldly. So expressionless face, very cold reception. He saw the flicker of terror again in the boy's eyes. Terror as unmistakable as an animal's. So probably this boy was a bit terrified. He was a bit worried. The scars on his neck were crimson for a moment. The marks that were there on his neck, they became reddish. Those scars, those marks, probably those of the torture. What were they? Sadao didn't ask. So Sadao did not inquire. Probably he wanted to inquire, but he didn't inquire. In the afternoon, second thing happened. What is that? Hana working hard on unaccustomed labor. So she was working hard and she was not used to that labor. She was not used to that work. That she was carrying out that work. Suddenly a messenger has come to the house. She saw a messenger come to the door in official uniform. So why that messenger has come to their door? Has he come to arrest them? That is the question here. Her hands went weak. They have become feeble. She could not draw a breath. She was not able to breathe. This was because she felt that the servants must have reported. And it may be because the report that they have done, that they had sheltered the enemy. So the servants must have told already. She ran to Sadao, gasping, unable to utter a word. But by then the messenger had simply followed her through the garden, and there he stood. She pointed at him helplessly. So she went to Sadao. She points at the messenger who had come. Sadao looked up from his book. He was in his office. The other partition of which was thrown open to the garden for the southern sunshine. What is it? He asked the messenger, and then he rose, seeing the man's uniform. So when he saw that, here was probably a man from the army, a soldier. So he saw he was wearing uniform. You are to come to the palace. You are called to the palace. The old general is in pain again. So he is in trouble again. He is in pain again. Will Dr. Sadao be arrested on the charge of harboring an enemy? Now here when this man comes, they are all worried. Hana is worried. Is it to arrest? But they come to know that this messenger, this soldier who had come in the uniform, he had come because general was in trouble. He was feeling lot of pain, and that's why the doctor was asked to come to the palace. Oh, Hana breathed. Is that all? All? The messenger did not understand. He wondered. All? Is it not enough? Is it not enough? Oh, indeed it is. She replied, I am very sorry. So now Hana was worried a bit, but now probably she felt relieved. When Sadao came to say goodbye, she was in the kitchen, but doing nothing. The children were asleep. She sat merely resting for a moment, more exhausted from her fight. She was totally tired. She was totally exhausted from the fear that she had because of this messenger. Then the kind of labor she was doing, the kind of hard work she was doing. I thought they had come to arrest you, she said. So she was worried that they had come to arrest because they were harboring their enemy. He gazed down into her anxious eyes, worried eyes, and he feels, I must get rid of this man for your sake. You are getting worried a lot. You are thinking about the children. The servants have left, and she had to do a lot of labor. Besides that, every day they worried a lot because they were sheltering their enemy. He said in distress, somehow I must get rid of him, and somehow we have to get rid of this man whom they had given shelter. Thank you. Goodbye.